Let's see if I can actually set up the game correctly. Okay. Turbo A confirmed. Oh no, I forgot my code. Thanks for the good luck, Robache. Yeah, I don't know. Had a short stream yesterday, did a quick run. I even died at Sleet. And like that's the worst possible thing that could happen on that split. I didn't really have time to run again, so hopefully just don't need extra time today, but if we do, we have it. Squeak, 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 squeak. The boulder is coming. Same pattern as yesterday, maybe. No, it's actually slightly better. Yeah, basically, I think as I understand it, the RNG is running against all the different raindrops on the screen. So if you move consistently, you will get the same RNG as a result. Although it's weird, like, normally things outside of battle operate on a different seed, so I don't actually know why it is like that. Unless Fling uses the global seed, it might be. Someone who knows more about this game can answer that. Okay. Like one action on every encounter, I guess it isn't awful. I thought I heard something in the other room, that was weird. It's fine. What just occurred to me is the reason why they have Garrett rejoin your party up ahead, just in case Isaac goes down during those first 4 battles. So you don't enter a situation where you start a battle with 0 HP. Because they don't recover you after this cutscene here. I always thought it was weird that they make Garrett take along, because he doesn't really add anything other than giving away Isaac's position. Sanderson already could have found Isaac anyway. Okay, Eruption's not the slowest thing he could have done. Alright, so now we sit through 5-minute cutscene. That'll be the theme for the first few splits. That is the tax we pay for every reset. Coming up will be the Veil split, where it's almost 24 minutes a split, and about 23 minutes of that is cutscenes. So, in the meantime, hope everyone's having a nice relaxing Saturday. If you're working, hope it isn't too busy. Got my COVID booster and flu shot together yesterday. I'm feeling actually pretty good. Just drinking a little bit more water than usual. I guess it would have been my 4th total COVID shot. This one is like, in terms of side effects, probably so far the possibly the weakest. It's really hard to tell because it's been over a year span of getting all these. And my arm isn't really any more sore than usual, considering I got the 2 shots. Although maybe it was sore a little bit faster than normal, but it's not like it's more intense. So good deal. What's neat is on my, I'm guessing this is a pretty typical thing, but for my company, like if you do certain health activities and you can get there's like a points program where every healthy thing you do, even if it's just keeping track of what you're doing, gets you some points, and then if you get enough points, you get a discount on your health insurance the next year. So just getting 2 2 vaccines, the flu and the COVID shot, are worth quite a significant number of points. Stuff's already covered through insurance in the first place, so there's really no reason not to do it. The only complaint I have actually is the pharmacy I go to seems to be like a little disorganized at times. I wonder if there's like how badly you can screw up a vaccine. It's like the pharmacist or the whoever was giving me the shot, I was like being like very sure of confirming all the details. But I suppose you probably wouldn't want to give someone the wrong dose. Because yeah, I guess like the amount of what you get is different depending on which shot count you have. Yeah, the reward system is interesting. I always thought it was kind of lame, but I think what it comes down to is like insurance tries to account for people who are at risk, and people who don't take care of themselves are at much higher risk than those who do like the bare minimum. Even just like getting a shot puts you ahead of some people. Other things that you can do is like just log if you do like certain healthy activities every day. What's kind of cool is that it like plugs into fitness apps or even into the phone health data directly, so it can tell if you're doing workouts, and then you get points from that. I guess it's like the kind of thinking like if you don't think about it at all, you will never take steps to fix anything. But even if you like, one of the things is just like take a survey every year. I'd like it's just try to like gauge like make you think about what your health is and maybe set some goals. Do I think Golden Sun would make a good anime? I think so. We've talked about this before, but you could probably do it in like a 24 episode anime. So you'd have to, I think you would want to try to fit in a lot of the side stories. But welcome in, Cold. Hope you're doing well. I think if we try to do just like the mainline stories of Golden Sun in like a short, like either like one movie or just a few episodes, I don't know if it'd work all that well or it wouldn't be that special. I think the thing that the games try to do when they go overboard a little bit is defining all the individual characters with like a lot of dialogue. And it's just like, it feels like they were trying to make an anime almost, instead of making a video game. The video game is there, obviously. A lot of the extra detail around the dialogue would be better suited for just something you sit back and watch. Hey CEO, how's it going? Welcome in. Attacks first. Uh-oh. Attacks first and Soul Sanctum is kind of cursed. I hope I've washed myself of like a lot of bad RNG though. Today I did a practice run with save states. Just not wasting my time too much. And I couldn't get through Outmiller in like 3 tries. It was just like double Dreadhounds all over the place. So hopefully we're done seeing that today. This encounter rate's really good. Yeah, well, that encounter was bad. Thanks for the contribution to the return of all classes, CO. Okay, now we're getting bad encounter rates. This room has a lot, though. Except for that one encounter, actually, this is a pretty good Soul Sanctum. Probably gonna get an amazing encounter, which is unfortunate. How much actual gameplay is there in the first hour of this run? Probably like 45 minutes. Okay, at least they let me go without any slow attacks. 1542, not too bad. Welcome in Mute, hope you're having a good Saturday. It's basically the next split, or rather this split, is like 23 minutes of cutscenes and 44 seconds of moving around. Give or take a little bit. Prologue itself is like 4 minutes of cutscenes. Well, maybe it's less. Yeah, Sanctum Exterior is like, at the very beginning it's 5 minutes. And then little dialogues here and there. And then Bandits has the cutscene going into Vault, the cutscene after the Bandits. And then there's the cutscene going into Goma Cave. After that, the ratio gets a lot more balanced. Hey, I didn't screw up the move there. Yes. How's it going, Carrie? When I practice, I do what's called the no cutscene patch, which basically just turns on the no cutscene debug mode that's already built into the game. It's just like toggling 2 bytes or something like that. It's very helpful for practice if you want to just do a run through. It literally saves like 62 minutes or something over playing the game normally. Yeah, okay, so I'll revise that. It's like 40 minutes of gameplay. Or 40 minutes of cutscenes in the first hour. So 20 minutes of gameplay. Thank you for the contribution to the return of all classes, Alexa Lily. And thank you for the premium RNG fuel, Alexa Lily. Alright, so... Okay, yeah, so that was... about 3 minutes of moving around. Nah, more like 2.5. Just doing those statues. So maybe I was being exaggerating a little bit. Maybe it's only 22 minutes of this split. It's cutscenes. It might only even be 21. Wait, it's a lot. It is the vast majority. This one's like a 3-minute. So the real challenge of this run is finding interesting things to talk about without just commenting on the game all the time. So we were talking about the oh-so-fun details of the American healthcare system and health insurance. The other thing I have to do, and I guess it's like, now's the time to do it, is like you get one chance a year to decide what kind of coverage you want. And like you can change it if there's like some like life-changing event. It's like, okay, do you want plan A, plan B, plan C? And if you're like someone like me, just no wife, no kids. And also like no like chronic conditions or anything that needs like regular attention. It's pretty clear like what plan you want to take to save money. If you have kids or other condition, then you might choose for the more expensive plan that gets more covered. It's all just a headache to try to make sense of. There's different dental plans and different vision plans and about a dozen different add-ons you can get. And what I'm talking about is definitely not standard. That's just, I mean, it's kind of standard in you like work for a big corporation, but that's not universal across everyone. That's the weird thing is like the ability to get insurance is mostly tied through your employer. Getting it outside is possible. It's more now than ever, but it's still pretty twisted, honestly. Alright, we get to move again. Yeah, that was about 3 minutes. Oh, failing at the half-tile hopping. Can save a split second if I line it up correctly. And then lose all the momentum if I am a little short. I'm not sure which is worse, the insurance companies or like hospitals themselves, or if it's a little bit of both. It's like from first-hand experience, and also from doing a little bit of software development behind the scenes, the way billing works is just nuts. The way, I guess the prime example I have is like when I had my bicycle accident like 3 years ago. They like itemize everything they do to you. And you know, I get some stuff is going to be expensive. The one that stood out to me was the $100 finger splint. Something that like materially would cost less than $5. Yeah, and the prices are just insane. They're inflated to whatever they can get away with. That's a prime example. And with the kind of health insurance plan that I have, it's what they call a high deductible plan, which means you actually do pay for it directly as long as your total costs on the year don't exceed a certain amount. You're just insured for having like too much healthcare cost. So normally they do, like, the inflated prices don't affect you if you have a different kind of coverage where you're not paying for it directly. But when you do, then you're much more keenly aware of how screwed up things are. So my recommendation, just don't get sick, forehead. Don't get in a bicycle accident. Don't hit your head. Hey, Old Metal Adept, thanks for the good luck. For what it's worth, I actually have a pretty good track record of not getting sick. I don't know why, though. I used to get sick like maybe once a year, and then when I moved to my new job, it stopped happening. Now, part of it is I started like doing other things that were healthier, like working out more and eating healthier. But now, like, the sickest I ever get is actually just like the mild tiredness I get from getting my vaccine shots. It's far more preferable than actually getting the real disease that they're preventing. Yeah, American healthcare, there's not a ton to recommend about the system, unless you have money, in which case it doesn't matter. And just the cost alone is one thing, but it's also just the fact that, like, based on traditions, how everything's just divided up into different segments of coverage. Like, you've got your regular medical, and then you've got your dental, and then you've got your vision. And then there's, like I said, there's other add-ons you can get. Like, I think I'm offered some sort of like additional like accident insurance, or if I am in an accident, that will give me additional coverage. It's a nice racket, that's for sure. Yeah, and that's exactly right, Carrie. Like, if you're gonna have some sort of chronic condition or hereditary condition, it's just like, well, hope you're ready to deal with this fixed cost. Although hopefully, I guess, if you are fortunate, you'll be covered by whatever plan, and The alternative, obviously, is like do it through everybody's taxes, and that's kind of how it ended up as it is, in part. Like, no one wants higher taxes, so instead they just pay ridiculous healthcare costs instead. How OP is it that Alex can just levitate through the air? That would be a cool ability. I also wonder why Alex doesn't do it more. I think they were trying to show him off, and then they were like, wait a second, if he can do that, a lot of stuff no longer makes sense. So they don't have him do it again. Yeah, it's all just the history of it. Full Metal Adept, why they're separate. Like dentists and other doctors just formed different groups back in the 1900s, and now that system has persisted to this day. Go back to the high cost too. Like, if you do have something that like happens and you can't pay for it, then there's like nothing really the hospital can do to make you pay it. Like, they'll harass you for payment, but it's all really weird. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to convince me that taxes is the better and simpler option, but I suppose I will say, other than the healthcare costs being completely ridiculous, understanding that, like, people who need it more understand that the value more. I can understand just a little bit that argument, why it's better to do it direct. But sadly, the health insurance companies don't necessarily have everybody's best interests at heart, so it gets pretty twisted. I mean, it's a very base instinct. You don't want to give up money if you don't see what you're getting out of it. Obviously, people really appreciate roads and other like very politically benign subjects, like roads and running water and stuff like that. Although I guess water is usually not part of the taxes. Depends on where you are, I suppose. Yeah, that is true. There is like an attitude of like, oh, I just won't get sick so I can save $1. And that, I will confess, I'm not immune from that culture. Like, I'm pretty bad about seeing a doctor regularly. And it has nothing to do with any particular reason. It's just like, kind of like discomfort with the idea of just that something could be wrong. And that is not uncommon at all. I did get my act together and started seeing a dentist regularly, though. During my college years, I was pretty bad about that, and it was a miracle I didn't get more cavities, or like any cavities during that time. But really should have. So I was not taking care of my teeth. And compared to everything else, dental coverage is pretty cheap. Alright, cutscene's gonna be over for like... There's the gameplay. Me using the retreat spell. And then running out. Okay. That was an invigorating 10 seconds. So besides the actual healthcare system, I'd say, at least in America, and I don't really have a good gauge of how it is other places, doesn't do a great job of like setting people up to be healthy. 'Cause there's just like a lot of just like bad food that it's easy to eat way too much of. And, like you get things like obesity as a very common problem in America, no surprise. Yeah, well, it definitely helps that it's easier to get health insurance now if you're than it used to be. I mean, in theory, if all the insurance companies compete fairly, then the costs won't get out of control, but in practice, that's not what happens. Yeah, I just like get most of my food from the grocery store, and I'm like very careful about counting calories because that's the one constant I found to keep my weight under control. So like, but any restaurant, it's just wild swing in the dark. Some fast food places at least have some guidelines for like what kind of calories there are in their stuff. But the problem is it is just an estimate, and sometimes like if you're at a sandwich shop, maybe you'll get a bigger cut of bread. Suddenly you're like 200 calories higher because of the bigger cut of bread or something like that. Pay for bed sheets and similar if you end up in the hospital. I mean, that sounds like what you would pay for in America plus everything else. And the bed sheets would cost $100. Some advice I've gotten in the past is like, although I never, you can avoid it. Don't ever take an ambulance. If you or someone else can get yourself to a hospital, just do that. Because the ambulance itself is such a high cost. Uni is first. Welcome in, Uni. And thank you for the contribution to the return of all classes. We've had, by the way, 2 back-to-back 3-herb fights for the bandits, so the odds are starting to even out a little bit. I was having a streak of like never getting 3. Oh, wise one, bless this run. Yeah, that's probably nice out there, Lara. Although in some ways, even if you don't have to pay for the ambulance, if you're in a situation where like every second counts, get someone else to drive you, because if you have to wait for an ambulance, that's probably not good. Dang, it was only $3,000 for a week-long hospital stay? That must have been like not a high deductible plan. Because when I had my bicycle accident, it was basic. I'll just say it was basically $3,000, maybe a little bit more, just to go into the urgent care, and then they recommended me go to the ER to get, just in case my head was like worse off. Like it's like you need to get an X-ray or whatever it is. At the end of the day, I was like, I went into work the next day, and after all that, because I checked out fine, just had a big bill, sore shoulder, and messed up finger. But otherwise, the real pain was just like, all that. All of that just cost that much? Yeah, still though, like a week-long thing only being in the being under $10,000. Sadly, sounds like a good deal. What are you talking about out there, Laro? No, just healthcare. Yeah, profit, greed, inertia. It's weird too, because like insurance companies don't want to pay out money, so why do they tolerate ridiculous costs? I mean, I know they negotiate a lot of them down, but it's like there's definitely something a little bit untoward going on. Very average run so far. So here's Lint the Ginny. He teaches all about the Ginny, although he doesn't do a very good job. He gets better at this in Arcton. It's the example of how Djinn work with just one Djinn is kind of lame, not gonna lie. But the basic idea is they augment your stats and they can change around your spells if you mix people's elements up. Like Garrett is Mars, Flint is Venus, so you can get a hybrid Venus-Mars class. You put Flint on Garrett. Or you can just make Isaac's Venus class even stronger by just putting on them. And then on top of that, each Djinn has a special ability. Flint's is, of course, very basic, just do more damage. It says it can cleave stone, that doesn't mean anything. And then after you unleash a Djinn, it goes into a shared standby pool, which you can use to summon powerful spirits. And that's like a big area of effect attack. So all those different concepts I mentioned will be used to various degrees throughout the run. Also, like, yeah, after you use a summon, your Djinn is like completely unavailable for a little bit of time. So that makes it a little bit risky. Nice. You can get an encounter between Veil and Vault. I've gotten 2 before. I don't know if I've ever gotten 3. I know at least one person has definitely... It has definitely happened that someone has like had Isaac or Garrett go down. I don't know if there's ever been a party wipe in Speedrun like that. And that is the kind of variance that we deal with all throughout this run. Maybe you get good luck and skip an encounter, maybe you get bad luck and someone goes down, which normally wouldn't. Okay, but we're slowly getting out of all the different cutscenes. Get to go do the side quest. Well, it's really the main quest involved. To get Ivan in our party. Another 20 seconds of movement, and then it's like a minute long cutscene. speaking of convoluted, you were talking about taxes a little bit. I was just thinking about how, like, there's an incentive for me to get some sort of tax rebate on my car when I bought it 3 years ago. It's like, even just knowing things like that requires some foreknowledge and all the different little things you can claim to reduce your tax liability. Makes the system very complicated. Now I get to chase some bandits and... Oh, what did... Nice. To chase some bandits and corner them to read their minds. I wish there were more mini games like this in the game. This thing is kind of janky, but I like it. Yeah, it's important to cut that guy off there so he can't get past me. If I'm slow, he'll blaze right past me, and then it's really bad. Yes, you can just cheat with hold. Totally not the intended solution. Jin will give up on you eventually. Himself get caught. He's turn. What weird ways to lose time. So in honor of my vaccines, I have upgraded today's run setup to 3 glasses of water instead of just 2. I've been noticed I was drinking quite a lot earlier. That's the worst symptom I get. Plus a sore arm, I guess. It is really not that bad at all. I had a tough time with the original COVID vaccine. The first shot was like, made me feel tired. Nothing surprising. The second one though was like, ooh, a little rough. Thankfully, it's not like that anymore. First real battle. Gotta take it. Still Bob on Garrett. Not ideal, but we'd rather him just do nothing, of course. Ooh, herb on the big guy right away. It'd also be okay if you, like, attacked. Okay, 2 herbs on the big guy. Okay, side dudes should go down. I think he still has an herb up his sleeve. I think someone else used an herb on him. Dang it. Well, 3 in a row. 3 plus. Yeah, when 2 herbs go onto one... When 2 herbs go into the center one, and they didn't come from him in the first place, it's very likely you'll get a 3rd. Because the side bandits have 1 herb each, and the center dude has 2. But the way it kind of works is he has to use his smoke bomb first before he can use any herbs. So the fact that he used smoke bomb on the first turn is why I said that wasn't like ideal, because it unlocks his herbs. If he just attacks you or does nothing, then you're in for a pretty fast fight. Plus, if only like 1 or 2 herbs go on the center guy, then it doesn't really cost that much more in terms of like turns. But when you get 3, then like it basically is like 2 extra turns. No, I think the herbs was so they could heal each other, I guess. I don't know. I think herbs is more interesting than just giving people more HP. Because it also costs them an action to do. In this case, it still slows me down, but... It's like the weird thing is, if your HP ends up kind of high, that means it probably took longer because the bandits were wasting time healing themselves. And if your HP ends up low, it's usually because it was a fast fight because they were attacking you instead. There are exceptions because they can also do nothing. They can glower ferociously or can't stop trebling or something like that. This is goodbye for now, Ivan, but we'll see you in just a couple minutes. New Gamba's up for Sadoros' pattern. He's fleeing with all the loot now. The mayor's giving us a reward. It's fine. What was with that movement? I don't even think that was me. Garrett was hurt too. I looked twice and I could have sworn his HP meter was full. I think I have to... Actually, I don't know. I might have to stand by Venus. Stand by Flint. No, maybe I unleashed Flint. I guess I should just be sure. That was such an unusual circumstance. Either way, I can... You're Garrett, I guess. He's probably not going to go down, but it is borderline where if like we get really bad luck, they could focus on Garrett. Good thing I checked. I would have tricked myself into thinking I didn't need to do that. Actually, I don't know if this is enough experience for Garrett. It is not. Sorry, Garrett. Fortunately, Garrett's level doesn't really matter. It does help me flee a little bit more. Hey. Bullying Ivan? My golden son? It's actually pretty normal. This is the encounter I would have liked to take. Definitely gets Garrett to level 3. This encounter also works. Thanks so much for the resubscription, Unicyclic. 27 months. Don't know how that's... Is that a Twitch baby? Missing the terminology. But yeah. As always, thank you for your continued support and enjoy your emotes. And thank you for the contribution to the return of all classes, Rafu. Are you kidding me? Back to doing this stuff again. Every 9 months is a baby. Okay, I get it now. Battled by Forge being a jerk again. At least he didn't run this time. No downtime. I'm not even sure I'm gonna say, go ahead and say it doesn't work that way. The sad thing is our average Coma Cave still has Forge Fling in it most of the time. Dang, just barely missed that. Alright, shopping time. Very important to buy broadswords and not long swords. From here I can mash LRA. So that covers our armor needs for most of the game. Let's get through this Bilibin stretch here. Things that were from Coma Cave like barely touch us now. Gin number 3, Ghost, who we don't have to fight. Generally, it's only the Jinn that are, like, surrounded by, like, in areas with monsters or under threat from monsters that you have to battle to have join your party. So even, like, running around town like this, it's not that bad. Just to pick up one Jinn. We do need, like, every Jinn we pick up, because we're going to be going for the level 4 summons, which requires 4 Jinn of the same type. Unless a Jinn is, like, well out of the way or redundant past level 4. And might as well pick it up. I was going to say, like, could I be getting multiple encounter skips? That doesn't happen. Oh, that was... Okay, it was the same frame. Same frame as I got in to the forest. It gave me the encounter. Neat. Alright, see you guys in a bit. Alright. Every time we answer no here. If you answer yes, you get a much longer dialogue. That's right, I was gonna go heal these guys. That's how I knew I got the encounter on the same frame as I entered town. So I was like pulling up the menu, and you had to enter town anyway. Do you want to lie down back on the ground and wait for a magic tree dandruff? Yeah, that could being a tree be that bad? Maybe these synergy barriers are actually bad for us, you know? Very good basement. Okay, one more safety herb. The herb I pick up there and the herb I pick up in Billabin one of them is probably necessary, but probably not both, unless you get the heat flash pattern. And then if you get the heat flash pattern, you could do without it, but you'd be gambling. And I decided I was no longer about losing runs to Satiros gambling. I can lose runs to Satiros mis-execution. I don't need the bad luck. Okay, this encounter is pretty bad. Ooh, it's close. Shoot. This Garrett's not getting healed. I didn't mean to heal Isaac there. I actually got an encounter in that little patch of not forest right there. Oh, dang. Alright, no one wanted to be there. Single gnome was a waste of time. Because it could run even after you do something with it. With Ivan's action. Just attacks first. I'd like a better encounter than that. I don't like this, but... Oh, jeez. Okay, we're getting more stuff. I did that right. Fire might be overkill. Be fine. It should be all the experience I need, though. Oh, I didn't even do fire. Flare was fine. Now we can just run from everything. This is fine. Oh boy. Okay. Ooh. Dang. Small price to pay. Unfortunate. And the 10 to 12 second tags for reviving. Yeah, the fact that they both did bear claws, I was like actually kind of worried. It was not too far from a party wipe. Would have taken just one more failed flea. Like in that case, taking that encounter would have been faster probably. We did a little high five to the snowman, and it caused it to trick it into making us make the game think it was already pushed down below, so we could bounce off of it. Here's party member number 4. Thankfully, we don't have to do even close to as long as the bandits. The quest to get Mia. Just have to stop in here and then go to Mercury Lighthouse. And then do like the first few rooms. Everyone's healed up. Jin should be in order. Wait, Isaac has exactly no synergy? How is that possible? Don't you normally get one recovery? Maybe not. Anyway, I guess Garrett's moving the statue. Alright, retreat glitch. Have 5 synergy points or less. And then the game gets a little confused. And wrong warps us to a completely different spot. Ooh boy. Nice flea. 3 sirens is very potentially run ending. This encounter is not great, but depending on what they use, it might be fast. Okay, that was good. Ooh. Lead is mad, but that was still pretty fast. I'd rather see a crit than Froth Sphere. Alright, time for Satyros. Yeah, I had really abysmal sleets in the past. Another retreat glitch right there. And then it takes us straight to the top. But you're not supposed to get here like that, obviously. And the game doesn't take it very well. You're supposed to, like, use that little... Like, you're supposed to ride, like, a magic waterfall or something that brings you up here. And since we kind of bypassed that, so the cutscene is not set up correctly. So we're gonna see Jenna's face. There's not much of actual Jenna. Or Kraden. I think Minardi is supposed to be over there, too. Hi, Jenna. Sleet is your super boss. It's been a while since Sleet has wrecked me. I know Blueser does granite strats because of how much Sleet has hurt him. I just don't see it. Dude, I just noticed that one of those platforms is not bobbing up and down like the other two are. What the heck? Oh, now. Oh, it's because someone was standing on it. I see. Get it now. Yeah, well, like last night's run tied him before Sleet. I mean, I could have finished it. I just was like not in the mood with such an untimely death. Alright, let's not screw up our notes this time. God Forge. Oh boy, Beat Flash, my favorite. Into attack. Well, nice. That worked out, I guess. Kind of. Okay, so on attack we get to just tank the eruption here. 3 targets. Look, win, Siren. Sorry about your points. Lane to attack Urban Air Raid. How's your weekend so far? Hope the weather's good by you. I think it's, yeah, it's really nice out. I was able to go running. It was still a little cool. Ramsey's granted in prison. Yeah, this game is actually not that long, so if you are looking for an RPG to play but you don't want to commit like 70 hours of your life, this is a good game for that. Four target. It should be fine. Yeah, let's just do it safe. I don't like the fact that I had to do that, but it's the safe play. I'm not in the mood for someone going down right now. That should be fine. Yeah, just speedrun the first try, and then you too can finish in under 4 hours. Totally reasonable. It's faster, that's weird. Anyway, if this doesn't go finish him, that'd be really bad, but I'm pretty sure it would. Because the fireball targeted 4 people. I think that was the correct play, just to be safe. I mean, you're not wrong. Just press retreat a bunch. Hop around the world. Hop around dungeons. Fortunately, there are some places we can't just retreat past. Yeah. Depending on what category you're playing, you might go all the way back to Vale, and that might be a good thing. I actually don't know how that one works. Why is it that... It's like a retreat out of Altmiller brings you all the way to Vale, right? Alright, next Gamba. The Sleepers. So yeah, Satyros is like a big wall because you'd say he's probably the most complicated boss. Probably more consistent to do than the final bosses. But the final bosses you always do more or less the same way unless they do certain moves. Satyros you have to like watch what his first move is and usually his second move, and then just what you're doing to try to line up your barriers and your summons against his biggest attacks. Yeah, I know 100% uses it. I just wasn't sure why, but apparently it's because there was just no valid door to go through instead, so I guess that makes sense. Does it take you inside Vale or just outside of Vale? Outside. That's kind of weird. I guess it makes sense because there's other places that like take you outside, like the retreat out of Suhala Gate. Just very conveniently takes you to the exit of Suhala Gate. I assume Lost Age has at least as much retreat glitching as this game, but I haven't actually probably watched a whole run in a while. I'm not sure. Much more. Yeah, it is a longer run, so it makes sense. Still want to try that one day, but just don't think I can seriously dedicate time to it until I'm done with this. To a time that I don't see myself beating, at least. Yeah, the retreat glitches in this game are already very crazy. There are so many applications of the retreat glitch besides just wrong warping. Pretty weird. Don't like those raids, but I do like those fleas. Yeah. Oop. Okay, that wasn't so bad. This is like the annoying part of variance is actually on this split. It's not Tread himself, it is Return from Emil to Bilibin. It has the most variance, I would say. But even the encounters in Kalima Forest. But that is part of it. I think it's also really crazy how the 90% category is so different between the two games, because they just have completely different perp and stuff. Right, now we get to use a Void, and now we get some consistency in our running across the world, because we're now over-leveled. And therefore, encounters will not show up under the Avoid effect. Unfortunately, we don't get to use this much, but definitely going to take advantage while we can. And it will stop having an effect in the second room in Kalima Forest. Yeah, the encounters here are pretty tame anyway. A lot of it is stuff you saw in Goma Cave. Like skeletons. Wrong way, whatever. Doesn't matter much. You're pushing that one from above, not from below. Bug. Okay. Well, interacting with that diagonally is inconsistent at best. There isn't really such thing as diagonal. You're like facing one way or the other, but your sprite might be facing diagonal. There we go. But in that case, I was like actually facing right and was lined up to interact with it in that direction. Alright, tread tree. It does reset the encounter steps, but it doesn't really help in this case. You need to pick up a gin along the way. That's a little scary. Okay, never mind. Either way. Abundance of caution, we will heal life in now. Please don't run away. Yay. You're my best buddy. Where do you get levels from without grinding? You still have to fight some bosses, and that gives a good amount of experience points. But yeah, we don't get too many levels though. You're definitely under-leveled going into the final fights. But what's interesting about the mechanics is that, like, things like your summon attacks, they're fixed damage. It doesn't matter what your level is at all. So we only need levels for things like HP, and maybe like a few spells here and there. The manip category, like any percent Fusion Dragon, I think, beats the game at like level 6 or something like that. Who was injured again? Was it just Ivan? Okay. What am I doing? Void. Is Fever, Forge, Granite, Forge Gust, Sleet Flint. And then we're gonna put Mia in front so that Mia and Ivan are on the edges, so they don't take too much damage from area of effect stuff. Yeah, I want to say it's level 6, I'm not positive. Getting level 13 for Colosso is free, but getting it before Help Miller is no longer free for me. It's fast attack. Okay. It's one of those days where Mia's slower than Isaac. Love that. We're not going to get the rainbow kill, but should finish now. As long as he doesn't sleep Star Garrett. Oh. It'll happen anyway. No sleepers. Yeah, Sleep Star basically put 3 people to sleep. It is not particularly dangerous, it's just kind of slow. I'd say he uses it like, it's at least 25% of the time. It might be more like 30% for any given turn. And then if it, I would say procs about 50% of the time on any given person. So not unusual at all to see someone fall asleep during that fight. Even with the extra turn, it seemed to be okay, though. So yeah, we did Mercury Lighthouse first, mostly because you need that Hermes water to feed or pour on Tret. But going through Kalima Forest twice would be really slow. Let's see, what's the next one? Oh yeah, poison. So Alton is going to be a huge decider of how this run is going. It's not the ultimate decider, but it's a pretty big part because we need to get the poison status to do some shenanigans later on. And if the game doesn't give it to us in a timely fashion, a lot of lost potential. Let's see, last run that I made it that far was the one where you had the 2 slimes, the 2 spiders, both of the enemies that can give you poison, and then like they just failed to proc the poison like 5 times. Then the encounter grew out of control and it took me like 3 extra minutes. So let's not see that this time. Alright, so I used Avoid before the boss battle, so I get to take advantage of it one more time. From here on out, though, we will be underleveled and Avoid will no longer help. We cross the bridge. Alright, gonna stop in Fusion Temple to pick up Zephyr. Pretty good gin to have. But all his ability is okay. It's an agility boost. It's gonna be our 3rd Jupiter gin. And from that we'll get the level 3 summon Pocky, which is the fastest summon in the game. At least per damage output. So it's going to carry us for quite a while. All throughout Mogul Forest and through most of Alton. So even though it's like a 2 to 3 minute detour to do this, it's completely worth it. Throw a hand in the air to waste 2 synergy points, then retreat glitch again. Hop a little bit farther forward here, and there's Zephyr. Zephyr also likes to run. That was a little scary. Storm Ray directed on Ivan will take him out, even though he's a Jupiter adept. That was a Flash Bolt, that's different. And then we have enough synergy regenerated at this point to do a real retreat. And just back out. Mogul Forest can be deceptively inconsistent, just based on the encounters and the encounter rates. But, here's Procne. Pretty good. And very fast. Don't blink. Yeah, wait, what? Why did I have an extra recovery? What the heck happened there? Oh, it's because I used... I actually don't know why that happened. That's weird. Oh, I know why. It's because I didn't move Breeze over. Okay, that's my bad. This is a little sketchy. Jeez. Okay, back to normal. Procne doesn't necessarily delete everything, but a little bit of chip damage cleans up the rest. I'm betting on an encounter before quartz. Might not happen. Nice. Nice. Dex first. He's definitely not running away. This is like the worst gym to run away because you have to do that whole log rolling stuff again and you have to go all the way back to reset the room. It's also nice because there's no damage to heal. This controller. It's definitely on me, but it's really easy to overslide. Not getting punished for Bad stuff. Bad movement. There we go. Words. Talking is hard. Yeah, with the Elven shirt, we don't need to equip Forge anymore to make me a Vast. Eventually we're going to give that to Ivan. It's a really good item to have. This encounter is a little not ideal because I can't, even though it's only 2 enemies, I still have to do an extra move. So not my favorite to see. I'd rather see chunkier encounters so that I don't miss level 13 going into Alma. Please. I forget if Plasma or Ray is faster. That's about the same. It's a difference of just frames. Bad movement. Hopefully I don't get burned. No, there we go. Wow. I would normally like try to run from this, but I got a bad feeling. How's it going, Dustin? Welcome in. Killer Ape. Gonna hope he doesn't war cry on Isaac or Garrett. Do we do? Isaac's a little bit faster than normal, or either that or Mia was a little bit slower. Mind. Okay, no effect, that's fine. Now we just unleash a bunch of summons. And now there's pretty much nothing you can do to hurt me other than to ransack Ivan, which will do a ton of damage and take him out 100%. That's okay. Just something you gotta deal with. That was it. Oh no. Water. Are you perhaps referring to Turtwig? What? Oh, that's not here. I'm gonna do a little tricky clip here if I can not screw it up. Torterra, yes. Cool Pokemon. There we go. There's like a specific pixel that does that clip very quickly. I'm content to like do it slowly, but consistently. More consistently anyway. So I gotta dig in a little bit. Oh, that's a nasty encounter. Okay, we're fine. We live. Please get across the bridge. Nice. So here's Corona. Oh, spicy fireball. It's time to switch to glass water number 2. Ivan's got Cure Well, which is great. And he's got a lot of synergy points. Wow, stop giving me this ape stuff. Never fight apes. They're super chunky. This is bad luck. I'm all set up for living statues, so that's fine. Well, the apes are like little event mini bosses in Mogul Forest. If you kick the logs or use force on them, they just decided to make them overworld encounters as well for some reason. I mean, they're not. It's not like 10 times too much HP. It's just don't go down in 2 turns HP without like multiple summons. Dirty apes have less HP. I guess I'm not too surprised. Yeah, dirty apes aren't actually that big of a problem, but you also have level 4 summons by then. Right, so after we fight this, then we're going into Alton Mine and looking to get poison. Hopefully not too fast, but not too slow. Don't ignore the frost tutorial. Yeah, it's not like we just used frost a few minutes ago. Nice miss, by the way. Let's dodge. We were doing work. Oh look, a frost jewel. Now we can use the frost ability. Hey, the living statue is fun though. What have you got against living statue? Just wants to play. Why are you so murderous? One day I will do that menu consistently and not scuffed. Yeah, but it's like fake water. Once it drains, it's like not even wet. So I would like to run from encounters like this, but I want to make sure Isaac gets level 11. Okay, attacks first. That is a single slime. I guess I could have gotten poisoned off of it, but I'd have to like... Didn't feel good about it. Maybe a bad call. Any believers in Garrett or Ivan being the poison target? So you're the one that's driving up insurance costs. Oh, wow, he connected through delusion. No, that's health insurance. That's different than home insurance. Don't even want to know We already in health insurance costs. Okay. Sure. It's not too slow to take this. There's level 11. And Zubats chase me from Pokemon Gold. No, those have really tiny mounts. Zubats have big mounts. Okay, you've got one chance, Spider. Oh, sweet. No one believed in Garrett, but I believed in Garrett. Poison Fang from a spider is like a much lower proc chance than Sticky Poison from a slime, by the way. I don't think the odds are even like 50-50 in my favor, or better than 50-50 in my favor. Yeah, Garrett is like the ideal poison carrier because he's got the most HP, most defense, least likely to die. Okay, I will clear this because it's a little scary to run from. I think he also has the most natural defense, although that doesn't make a ton of difference. Did I bounce? Nope, still connected. Yes, there's a reason I want someone poisoned. And you will see in a couple minutes. Poison ASMR. I'm not quite sure what that means. Nice attacks first. Yeah, maybe you just like the sound of the hop. Maybe you like to jump. It's a health activity. That's the last living statue we're gonna fight, by the way. I should have used Cure Well instead of Cure. Yeah, it doesn't matter much. But anyway, you probably noticed that whenever we take poison damage, we do a little hop in the air. So pay attention as we hop. Dude, moved. Blocked my path. Okay, retreat glitch 1. Retreat glitch 2. Oh, I messed it up. There we go. And we interact with spritz from the low ground. Oh, we made a mistake. What do we do about that? I really screwed that up. Garrett's supposed to use Tiamat. I'm supposed to put Fever back on. A little bit of time loss, but whatever. Turns out, if you're not losing 3 minutes to trying to get someone poisoned, you go fast. So run from that anyway, but my gen were not ready. There they are. Yep, so that's poison trick number 1, and that is, we'd say, the less severe of them. Yeah, who would think that that jumping animation actually changes your Z coordinate? Well, it was discovered recently. In the last year or so. It's a little scary. Smoke bombs are slow, but at least they don't kill me. One, 2, 3, 4. 5. 6. This is fine, I think. 7. And then we'll get 8. This is perfect. So I want to get Isaac in retreat glitch range once again. All I need to do now is use Ply on Garrett to make it happen. Yeah, you gotta get motivation to run that fast. Retreat, and now the loading zone is gone up here, so we can just walk on the ceiling. It looks a little weird, but yeah, we're above this area. We're just gonna go sneak around, steal the chest, regenerate up to 6 synergy points to do a real retreat. With the lifting gem, we can proceed to the main part of Alton Mine. Yes, you have the lift. Yeah, people say Garrett doesn't have uses, but basically got Isaac into so much trouble. That's how Isaac stays set. Alright. Break time. See you guys in a bit. I mean, to be fair, Garrett would be like... He'd be like looking green, but he wouldn't be feeling it. He would just be like, huh? Do I look sick? No, I feel fine, guys. I mean, in a way, isn't that kind of what extra HP is supposed to represent? That you can take, you like might be taking damage, but you just have more health overall. So even if he's at 100 HP, he would feel just as good as Ivan does on a normal day. Alright, we're getting Reveal, which is actually a very essential spell for the most of the rest of the dungeons. A lot of optional stuff is hidden behind Reveal as well. Most of it we're gonna skip, of course. Nope, come on, monk. For the first time in a while, we've got a revival item. Alright, Lamech and Desert can be a little spicy, but I'm gonna try not to play too aggressively here. I would rather not take this encounter, but it's a little scary. Easy. No reason to risk that. Grubs are usually not that big of a deal. I don't see the need to squeeze seconds right now. Oh, that's gross. Give me my gen recovery. Yeah. If you thought I was setting up for another retreat glitch, you would be correct. And we can just kind of slip and slide our way out of bounds here. Okay, fine. If he hit anybody else, I would have tried running again. Smog Quartz, Smog Fizz, Freeze, Corona. And from out of bounds, we can just interact with the Manticore because reasons. I'm not even sure it's possible for Garrett to go down. Everybody else, I think, if they're targeted under poison, they can go down. Maybe not Isaac. Yeah, there's no way. No. Yeah, actually, if you got venomed, maybe. Oh no, the curse. Forgot that I could do Seagully from the bottom instead of going all the way from the top. Oh, the curse didn't work, it's fine. No bad RNG in this run. Not a particularly fast Manticore, but not slow. I don't know why I did that. Don't need to heal him right now. Fine. Fine, please be nice. Just show up. It's not fine. Where is it? There we go. Nice attacks first. If I took 2 encounters, I would creep, but usually the worst is I take 1 extra encounter. So I think, like, objectively time-wise, Fine is not worse than Quartz. Don't know why I bothered healing, it's not like Garrett needs it right now. I could probably like run from this too, but might as well just Judgment it now that I've got it. Judgment's pretty fast. It's a little bit slower than Proc Me. It's very, very powerful. Oh dang, I was like, it's gonna be a second encounter, isn't it? Let's go, Sleep Star. Come on, that was just slow for no reason. Here's the reason why we carry poison. You basically just stored one of the poison ticks and took 2 of them at the same time. And that caused us to jump over the barricade that is normally a way that you push as a backtracking mechanism, but we just used a shortcut in the opposite direction. It's pretty neat. So that very precise movement was to make sure that we got 2 poison ticks on the same frame, basically. Nice quick encounter here. Anything you can clear if Judgment is really good. I don't know who found Poison Skip. I don't think it was one of the main runners, though. Anyway, I cured the poison. That was the last time we used it. Do a little sneaky sneak into the docks here to reset the encounters. Fan-aid, use growth. Actually, Yeah. Should have just completed the frost, but whatever. Don't get caught without judgment on the overworld, though. That was my thought process. I didn't want to forget. You stand by Jin again. Been pretty good about it today, but not perfect. Alright, time for Ember Leg. Leg. I'm guessing Isaac's still level 12, but I didn't skip too much in Lamakin, so he should be pretty close to 13. Oh, he is actually 13, alright. Perfect. Would love to run from this encounter, but it's actually surprisingly hard to run from a single mole. Right, so we got Vine, and now we're gonna get our final Venus Gen ground. Now you might say it's a 5th Venus Gen, what's up? Well, ground is really important for defensive purposes. What makes it actually, like, not insane to go through Venus Lighthouse later on. Him in Flash. More levels is good too, because more levels means more running away and Outmiller. Hopefully the run just doesn't just die here. So we're be running, not fighting. Axe first, I will take that. Give me another. Okay. Gnome attack is much better than Gnome Fireball. It's like not even funny how slow Fireball is. Bye Babby, bye Babby. Loot is also pretty slow. A little leggy too. No, not Fireball. Chunky on 4 people too. A little bit of suboptimal movement. This time I'm not going to walk past the staircase. So yeah, this is the one time I've actually like stacked into the same element just on Isaac. Because he's going to need that for Colosso anyway, because he's, you know, solo in Colosso. But it also helps make a nice firm anchor here. He's by far the tankiest in our party right now. Everyone else doesn't really matter. Like, they could go down. As long as Isaac is up. Yeah, good shape. Mia going down would also be a little bit bad because she's actually bringing up her average level, which helps the fleet chance. Yeah, in practice today, Dustin, I think I was telling you this earlier. Like, Outmiller wiped me like 3 times, and I had to just like eventually just scramble the RNG to make sure I could get through. But, okay, that's a scary encounter. We're gonna take that Omen and heal up Garrett. And double Dreadhound is... Double Dreadhound can wipe you anytime, no matter what your setup is. And nice. Nice skip. Okay, blue, green, white, yellow, red. Colossus skip is, yeah, a further application of what's called def storage, which is another further application of poison abuse. But yeah, because it being legal would involve getting poisoned in Mercury Lighthouse, which is just really inconsistent. It's not allowed in this category because that would be no fun. Ready for somewhat fast colors for once. Basically, like if someone died to a poison tick at the same time you hit a loading zone and then the game breaks in other ways. That's the short explanation how I understand it anyway. Alright. Huge encounter skip. Let's hope the last 2 or 3 encounters are good. That's a good start. Attacks first. Not the best rate, but attacks first. Probably 2 more encounters. Okay, this is... Unless we wipe on the next encounter, this is like about as good of an outmiller as I could hope for. Okay, the good streak ends. My seconds, give me back my time. Okay. Still very good outmiller. As you see, like, possible time save, yeah, is over a minute. I don't know if we'll get all of that minute after that last encounter, but it's going to be pretty close. The thing is, like, if you allow def storage in this category, it's not that much more interesting. So you still kind of do the same things in the end. It does have applications in other categories. So yeah, this category is sort of like the no major glitches route, and obviously we use some arguably pretty game-breaking glitches, but there's even far more broken stuff that is not allowed in this category. Fusion Dragon is like just over an hour, I believe. Actually, that's not true. That's not counting intro. Yeah, with intro it's 2 hours. Any percent, which by convention just skips the intro, is without intro like 30, 40 some minutes. And then that would make it like just over an hour with the intro. So here's one of the last 2 remaining long cutscenes. Both of them are by Blabby here. He's an important character, so I guess it's fine, but... Yeah, Fusion Dragon's a cool category. If I was going to run a Minip category, it would be that. Doing arbitrary code execution I think is fascinating, but I don't know if I would actually want to time myself doing that. Yeah, even any percent without arbitrary code execution has a warp, I remember now. There is some really, really broken stuff in this game. No shade to anyone who does any percent in this game, but the arbitrary code execution is a little bit of a... like, things related to that. They're not the most interesting to watch. But it is awesome to see that it is possible. Because a lot of it is off-screen running around. And that's part of why, like, I don't think I would ever run it. Not that I couldn't do it, but I just don't know if it's the most interesting to do over and over. Yeah, exactly what Raffi said. It's cool that people are pushing that. But that's not what I aspire to. Because I would prefer that if I'm gonna throw a run, I can see what I'm throwing. That said, you should watch it at least once, just to like see how broken the game is. Yeah, like any game's arbitrary code execution is like, you should definitely check them out. It's obviously far beyond anything the developers ever could have imagined. FX showed it off in a marathon. That was pretty cool. He was able to do that. Right now, FX is working on like a Deadbeard category, by the way. It'll be kind of cool to see. Just another manip route. So I could Death Warp, but I'm a little too healthy for that to be economical, I think. Okay, nice attacks first, especially if we're going to get attacks first on the way back there. I mean, it was a rat anyway, but still good. Get in there. Aw. Pretty good. This is a very good Al Miller split. And I screwed up the movement there. Never thought it. New Game Plus is the most competitive category in this game. That is utter falsehood. Unless you're measuring by like the difference in milliseconds. That was like 6.5 seconds off of gold. Yeah, now I understand what you mean, yes. Even this category used to have like millisecond differences in times between people. It's pretty nuts. Yeah, I mean, FX and Conical have done some manip categories here and there. Conical's focusing on the Lost Age right now, though, and I think FX is doing his Deadbeard thing. He also did glitchless all chests, which was kind of neat. That's a long run. Just something kind of he came up with. Or at least 100%, that's right. Okay, it's important to skip tutorials. Let's not throw away 10 seconds to nothing here. %'s like probably not that bad. Of all the other categories in this game, 100%'s the one I have the most interest in after I'm done with this category. Just because, like, even though it's very similar, it ends up different because of getting the extra gin and doing the extra stuff. It's like just over 4 hours. I would consider running glitchless, but again, it's not going to be that different from this category, so I don't see the point too much. It's like, yeah, you do some extra stuff in Mercury Lighthouse and avoid some of the other shenanigans, but at the end of the day, you're just taking more encounters and maybe just fleeing from more encounters. Alright, it's time for the cheat break. Which we do not need to take advantage of. I wish you could tell Ivan, like, no, this is a terrible idea, just waste our time. Let me just do this. I've got it. Don't you have faith? I mean, don't you have to fight, like, Hydros? Like, there's a few extra bosses you have to do in Glitchless, but it's, in the grand scheme of things, not changing a whole lot. Wait, did I actually beat the bridge? I had to stop and wait for the bridge to come up. Never had that before. Anyway, it doesn't really matter how fast we go as long as they're faster than Hazard here. That's also, yeah, Kraken too. How could I forget Kraken was a thing? Oh, I didn't do the Colossal Nut prediction. Oh well. I don't want to see any nuts anyway. Solid start. Yeah, Colosso is like it's the breather episode, right? But at least we've got some fights we squeeze out as much efficiency as possible. Yeah, Colosso is interesting until you realize that it doesn't matter if you get all the items, because you don't even take the items with you. They're not very good items. Or if you just bring Healing Synergy to the fight, then you don't need half of the items anyway. Yeah, that's true. Colosso multiplayer would be amazing. Especially like what they do in the Lost Age where Trial Run is like randomized a little bit. Alright, Patridge is the one that's the worst. It'd be more interesting if you'd help your opponent. Wait, what do you mean? Oh, you mean like in the cheat break? It'd be nice if there was like a risk reward system, or if you help them out, you get a better reward if you win. All right, final glass of water. While we wait, we can set up the next prediction, which is -1's. We're gonna get blue path or yellow path. Edridge like bounces over walls and he still can't do this thing quickly. Fend? Ah, gross. This might kill? Okay, that wasn't so bad. 0 nut Colosso. Very lucky though. The defend on Judgment was like an instant loss of time. Ragnarok is pretty awesome. Alright, now we just need to lose quickly. I think it's a little bit weird in hindsight that they say normal people can't see synergy, but I guess it kind of makes sense, like you're using telekinesis, but you'd think things like Ragnarok would be an exception. It's just like a giant dagger from the sky of energy. So 10 out of 10 tutorial skips, let's go. There aren't really that many users though, especially not until Vale or Mount Aleph erupts. It is such like a kid-like attack, like, ooh, I'm just gonna make a sword rain from the sky, and you're dead, haha. Just shove a ethereal sword into you. Oh yeah, you gotta have an explosion. The sword is cool, but the explosion is what sells it. Let's go past conveyor. Bum, bum. Bum, bum. Come on, dude. Can you just attack? There's one. There you go. Sheesh. No nut Colosso, but a couple defends. Only 6 seconds lost. That's actually not bad. Yeah, we lose on purpose, of course. Because we don't need to win to advance the plot. You only need to win the first two. Otherwise it sends you back to this very scene, except you haven't completed an Ape Colosso if you try to Hazard or Satridge. Yeah, that's how it is. Is like Isaac is like, oh, I had a bad dream where I lost Colosso or something like that. He's like, get it together, Isaac. Things you never want to see in a speedrun. Alright, break time. Final break. See you guys in a bit. But yellow path or blue path? And green splits his yellow path. That's not always true. If I don't get the yellow path, then it doesn't mean I'll get like caught by surprise with older beasts or something like that. Blabby. Yeah, you want your draft. Go get you your draft. Boat, please. Boat, please. We don't even need the boat in this game. We talk about the boat after this game's done. Alright, so yeah, you normally have to do Colosso, mostly to just get Eodam to show up at the bridge, and then he's in your party, then Suhala Gate becomes passable. That's assuming that you're not using depth storage. Right, we've got some Waters of Light to pick up. And the Power Bread for Ivan. His inventory is so cluttered. Oh, come on. No, come on. Dude, really? Okay, well, there goes one of the Waters of Life. That's very unfortunate. Rocking the Swift Strike. Okay, why am I attacking here? That's dumb. Oh, healing, rather. I don't think I technically need to go into Suhala, but fine. Whatever. Okay, so missed it. Almost got a skip there, didn't get it. Well, actually, I already missed 2 technically. Wow, that was a missed input. How bad is that? Probably bad. Okay, didn't matter in the end. It's just slower. Tornado lizards really know how to attack. Dang. Okay, let's not miss Boreas. There we go. Wait, does Judgment beat that? Yeah, Judgment does beat a single roach. Whatever. You want all the slow summons. Let's try doing this encounter correctly now. There we go. Oh my word, that's annoying. It means we're doing triple summon. Double ward? Are you okay? Good thing Procny kills through double ward. Stuhala Desert is nothing to write home about. Weasel's Claw. Just kind of want to drop that now because it's going to get in the way of the Curie Stone later. There's like advantages to moving ground sooner rather than later. Oh jeez, what's going on here? I don't even know what this involves. It's probably like Meteor, not Thor. Dang it. What an annoying encounter. Now Thor actually... really close. That's actually not so bad. Get in there. Nice. How am I saving time? With no skips. We're comparing against average, so what was a worse flash split before? This is a nice rate. This is a nice encounter. Is it possible to learn getting good RNG? Just ask Conical. You learn a minute. Okay, good exit. Encounter post flash is very good. Hey, we got a skip after all. Next fast encounter. We might get a second one, though. Hi, Rupee. How's it going? I got a lot of synergy to drain. That's the only problem here. If I wasn't already down a water of life, I might consider doing something slow to get these guys to give something Isaac to heal up. $20, $15, and 5. And we're out with another retreat glitch. I'm just setting a retreat point right there. Keep doing that funny. Okay, good. She did get the carry stone after all. Oh wow. Nasty encounter. Well, let's see. Not much I can do about that. That was like... I play with a certain amount of greed, but that was unusually fast. We're losing time for that. Thank you for the contribution to the return of all classes, Dio and Ruby. Yep, for Phantasy Star Online. That's not even enough to take the guy out. Please don't pile. Okay, time loss. Let's lift. Right. Thanks for the contribution to the return of all classes, Chitin. Actually, the chances I would get another encounter. And what's it gonna be? Blue! Let's go. I'm still saving time even with an encounter. Whatever. Knowing that we have to take this encounter, but it's fast. Well, I mean, it's simple. Unless one of them defends like that. Two of them defend, okay. Okay. Actually, I don't know why we used ground on that one. Whatever. Please don't kill. Okay. Nice crit. This is getting a little intense. If I grounded the correct one, that doesn't happen, so that's on me. But that's a very unusual thing to have happen, for what it's worth. This is like completely fine though, as long as we don't need any more revives. My gen are gonna be so messed up. It's actually not that bad. I hate this encounter. Watch them do double defend. Oh wow. In practice I had that exact same encounter a few times. The rats were just doing their 90% defend over and over and over again, and I actually ran out of things to summon on them. If it happened in the run, that would be quite special. Oh yeah, def size, because we're ahead. Will Minardi cut us off? Or will she let us go? Yeah. There's no truly good RNG until we get a ton of rune skip, I guess. Need more people to vote yes on that F size. Just so the game feels like spiting you. I think the scythe will come out. Oh, if the scythe comes out but it doesn't proc, that is fine. Thanks for the good luck. Have a good one, Kaiten. Yeah, how dare you use the word that it was supposed to be translated as? Thank you for no second encounter, that's a good start. Oh, really? It's not in range? So annoying. Ooh, wow, okay. Wait. That's very early. Hopefully that means we're not getting any more encounters. Then it doesn't matter. If we get a second encounter in 10 runs, that'd be so sad. Yeah, just for the record, the superstition is mostly a joke here. It's fun to believe in it jokingly. Feels so weird doing a gin menu on that screen. here though. Just I'm clever. You can do it from the stairway. Pretty tricky. Hard to set up without losing time. So I give it one shot and that's all. Perfect. Energy draining. Wish I could say pushing the statues was a formality, but you can screw it up. Not losing time compared to average. Must have had like fast encounters on average. Please no second encounter, whatever happens. Okay, good. In the end, the early ton of ruins encounter didn't matter. Judgment. 4. Chimera recovers, though. That's gonna be annoying. Oof. Yeah, this could have been worse. It is a juicer. A little bit of an awkward position for gin recoveries, though. Game's fine. I decided to take the risk. Okay. Did I do this backwards? Shoot, I hope that's fine. I think I did it backwards. Got one more water of life. Yep, backwards. Okay. I practice these encounters and I still make silly hit flips like that. No. Get back there. Okay. Like stuck to it. I couldn't on stick. Two gin recoveries to go. That's really bad. Yeah, we made it. Right on time. It's looking like a time loss Venus too, if I've ever seen one. Where did you end up with that? Okay, whatever. I made, like, for inventory full. Alright, I used the Water of Life before the inventory spot was freed up. Feels really bad having to use 3 Waters of Life on Ceterosman Arty Fusion Dragon. And I'll post also as well. Really, all of them were my mistakes, I think, too. There's all these really weird edge cases, though. There'll be 2 more encounters. Finally, something not too long. Okay. You're still actually saving time. It seems too hard to believe. Apparently the Venus stews that have made it through up until now have been pretty poor. Rest in peace, Isaac's hair. Alright. Just need the final bosses to not be too mean. Okay, I equipped the Guy Blade. it's just Jin menuing. Excuse me. Just making sure. Hopefully didn't screw that up. Accidentally giving Ivan ground instead of trading it. A little scary. Guess we'll find out. I screwed it up. Perfect fight though will save a lot of time. These averages are kind of bad. I don't remember if the PB is like. It's slightly more. About the same actually. Yeah, you're just in time conical. Or the glory or the bust. Only 2 minutes ahead of PB, 5 minutes ahead of average. And that's with using all my waters of life already. Ugh. Please, Saturus Minority Fusion Dragon, just give me a perfect fight. No. Not fine. Good then, Bowie. Ooh. So we're gonna alternate between Judgment and Wishing and Flashing. Now Minardi gets an action. She can ruin everything. Resist means it's not a perfect fight. If we live. Thanks for the good luck, Raffi. Plasm's a little slow. Not threatening. So we're gonna get all of our Venus Gen back from turn 1. Just rinse and repeat. Yes, I did. Yep, there's the break. Okay, we can go for a drench. And we'll offset not all of the damage we lost, but some of it. Another break, okay, that's interesting. least he's like leaving us alive. Yeah, I guess now we have to wish. Another resist, why not? Two wards, you mean two breaks? Maybe if we get enough slow stuff, it'll end on flash turn after all. Oh. Here it comes. Okay. I'm not even gonna risk a Ramses, I'm just gonna go full. It's dumb. There was only one resist, one break. Might do it differently. Please get them both. Good. Good. No def size. Hey, Yukamak. I hope you don't think you'd finish us off. But we'll just stand there and let you recover. Hey, Garrett, could you, like, stand a little bit to the left? Oh, too late. Yep, hopefully the right time. As long as Fusion Dragon is nice. I have 0 Waters of Life. So if anyone goes down, it's going to be very hectic. Too early to regret the mistakes I made, but I really want those Waters of Life right by now, but I would rather not have to use them at all, I suppose. I put them to good use. Right, flash turn. Shaka. Look pin. Dragon Driver is fine. Double Dragon Driver. So like I was going so fast I wasn't sure I was actually selecting the right stuff. But I was. Nerve-wracking fight. That's not a haiku. Only 4 syllables. And there's the break. He needs wish. I might regret this. That wasn't going to do me much good anyway. Another break. It's funny. I love it when he breaks against just the Mars buff. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh no. Well. Here we go. Isaac has got a spooky friend. 1 in 4 chance of losing pretty much the run. And okay, he's fine. Low, but I've got flash. Refreshing vine is good. Fuck, wasted my time a little bit more, but I should. Okay, we hope we survive to use this judgment. I think this should kill him. The flash is probably superfluous. Okay. Flash is not superfluous. There we go. It's my signature finisher. Kind of regret using flash, but I didn't. I don't think that's the difference between anything. Ah. Finally. Sub 330. Thanks for the GGs, everybody. Dustin, Rafi, Zadata, Conical, Ukamak, Bowie, Carrie, Dio, Robot J. Guess I should concentrate on the mashing, huh? If I had just gotten either Perfect Future Dragon or Perfect Xanderus Minority, it could have been 327. Oh well. Yeah, I suppose on the bright side, I don't have to run against a perfect fight. Venus 2 time is also definitely average. Also, like, not burning my waters of life on stupid stuff would have also helped. Oh well. Wouldn't be a daily PB without something really scuffed. Well, if nothing else, Dustin, at least I don't have to run against a godly early game anymore. This is a pretty good mid game, though, up until Suhala. Because just looking at the PB, like, the time save here looks impressive, but it really isn't that. Nothing really special happened. It just went really sideways compared to a godly early game in the last PB. Do Metroid instead. Speedrunning. I'm not about the platformers. Didn't see who got the black orb. Yeah, I guess it was you after all. Oh well, small time loss. Metroid pinball, is that a thing? Maybe I remember that. I don't think I ever played it. $328, $23. To rest my hands. Oh, jeez. Pop, pop, pop. 8 attacks first, 0 caught by surprise. not too cursed of a run. Is this sub-future? I don't know, probably.